Okay, in this video here, we're just going to talk about reflections over both the x-axis and the y-axis. It's not an incredibly difficult or hard thing to understand. If ever we want to reflect something over the x-axis, a reflection over the x-axis will look like this, okay? And it's interesting that you should know when we reflect the square root function or the parent square root function over the x-axis, it looks like the parent function quadratic, only it's twisted over, and you're going to see that in later videos and other things that we're going to do. The equation for the reflection of the parent function over the x-axis is negative square root of x. And you'll remember whenever you saw the square root problem, sometimes you would have an answer that's plus or minus the square root of 10 or plus or minus 3 or something. Well, this is a reason for that. So the equation of the square root function when it's reflected over the x-axis is essentially the same. It just has a negative in front of the square root. Now, when we reflect over the y-axis, it works a little bit differently. Okay, so we have this parent square root function, f of x equals the square root of x. And if we want to reflect it over the y-axis, it's going to look like this. And the equation is different from the reflection over the x-axis because it still has that negative sign, but the negative sign is now inside of the square root. And remember, when you're dealing with a square root function, you can have a negative next to a variable. You just can't have a negative actual number. And we'll discuss that in later videos. So the equation, when you're reflecting a square root function over the y-axis, is the same, except that it has the opposite sign inside of the square root and in front of the variable.